Have an F, please.
And yeah, there are 2 Fs. Boy, when you're hot, Coach. Okay, spin it again. Oh, sorry. All right, Coach, the door to Kansas City is wide open, so give it a spin. $250.
Can I have a D, please?
Yes, there is a D. Okay, spin it again.
I'd really like to buy a vowel. Can I have an O?
Well, good news. There are 3 O's in this puzzle, Coach.
All right, I've got it. It's the road to the Final Four.
Hey, that's right. Road to the Final Four, the NCAA National College Basketball Championship.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by the new Audi 90. It's everything you hoped driving would be. And by Sheraton, the hospitality people of ITT.
Sheraton, we know that little things mean a lot. That's why just one number gets you reservations at any Sheraton in the U.S. or 63 countries worldwide.
Remember what it was like to drive a car by the seat of your pants. Your pulse raced, your heart pounded. You and your car were one. If you're ready to feel that way again, you're ready for the new Audi 90 Quattro sports sedan. Driving is what you hoped it would be when you were a kid in a little car racing down a hill.
Hi, boys.
Only Toro offers the 2-year starting guarantee. This Toro will start on the first or second pull for 2 years, or Toro will fix it free. Guaranteed. Other Toro mowers start at only $299.95.
At Pizza Hut, we make it fast.
We have time for lunch?
We make it hot.
It's gonna be hot, right?
And we make it great.
Great.
Making it fast, making it hot, giving it everything we've got. Making your style, give me a smile. Slicing and spicing, cheese and pleasing.
At Pizza Hut, we go all out to make it fast, hot, and delicious.
Making it happen, making your day. Pizza Hut, making it great.
Hello again, everyone. Jim Nantz along with James Brown. And first off, our thanks to Pat, Vanna, and the gang from Wheel of Fortune for helping us on the road to the Final Four. Today, we're going to ticket our first 2 teams for Kansas City, and we're going to start with regional final doubleheader with Duke of the ACC against top-ranked Temple. Then you're going to see explosive Oklahoma of the Big 8 square off against Rolly Massimino's surprising Villanova Wildcats.
All right, Jim, but coming up first in our pregame show, we'll look back at a stunning evening last night for the state of Kansas. And Gary Paul Gates will have a modern-day version of the Philadelphia story. But right now, as we approach game time at the Meadowlands, let's check in live with Tim Brandt and Bill Raftery.
All right, James Brown, and welcome to the Meadowlands Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey for the Championship of the East between Duke and Temple. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt along with Bill Raftery, and we've got a guest, the Temple tactician.
Well, we could use some help, Timmy, but you ate a lot of hot dogs and put too much weight on.
No, don't say that.
And you took the plate from your wife.
No, don't. See, you guys got me in trouble. I didn't know what you said about the hot dogs. And I came home, and she looked at me and she said, "You eating those hot dogs with the cholesterol and all the triglycerides in it." And I was in trouble all night. So don't say anything.
Like the game itself. Frieswick threw a bad pass. John got all over him, and you were upset.
Yes, because he knows better than that. He knows better than to try a pass like that. So we took him over to the psychiatrist, had him take an exam. He's all right.
Analyze the game for us as you see it.
I think it's going to be clean, smooth, slice made by Temple and good surgery, and we'll be ready for Kansas City.
Hope you're smiling.
Huh? I'm smiling now. But I made a wager with a guy who said that if Duke wins, I'll wear their T-shirt on the Cosby Show, and I will.
Terrific.
But I wish everybody good luck.
Dr. Cosby, Bill Rafter, and Jim Nantz, we're just about set. It's Duke against Temple, the two top seeds in the East. Jimmy?
All right, tip-off about 20 minutes away. Now we know where Rafter gets all of his one-liners from.
Smart man.
He's going to want his own primetime show next. We're going to continue on the road to the Final Four on CBS in just a moment.
I'm State Farm Agent Wallace Lewis. I'd like to tell you about the Landrys, a young family who came to State Farm for a life insurance plan. Mike and Madeline had a budget, and they didn't want to hear a lot of life insurance sales talk. So instead of a lot of talking, I did a lot of listening. And we came up with a life insurance plan that fits their needs and their budget too.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Who would you say makes the best personal computers for business? The brand being added by the most major corporations? The one rated highest in performance by computer experts? The one that won the most industry awards? Or the one that's grown the fastest? Hard call, right? Not really. In each case, the answer is Compaq. It simply works better.
Aggressor tank spotted. In a battle drill, you need horsepower, firepower, people power. That's teamwork.
Moving tank, direct front, 2,000.
This team uses a computer, thermal sight, laser rangefinder.
Ah!
Yeah!
All that you can.
We win, the whole tank wins. The whole team wins, not just one person.
Find your future in the Army.
Ever since your post office invented express mail overnight delivery, others have tried to copy our eagle. But it's not so easy. Because express mail has overnight reliability that's close to perfect, the most convenient locations, and prices as low as $10.75. Most others charge you about twice that. So if you want a combination of low prices, convenience, and reliability no one can imitate, use the original express mail service from your post office.
Back here on the road to the Final Four, in regional semifinal action in Pontiac and Seattle last night, we saw the road to the Final Four take some unexpected turns, especially for two teams from Kansas. Jayhawks center Danny Manning was a one-man wrecking crew last night. He started things off outside with this three-pointer from the top of the key. He was just as effective on the inside with the high percentage shot. And then two more of the conventional variety en route to a 38-point performance. Kansas celebrates the All-Kansas Regional.
Our team did a great job of staying wide, getting good spacing, and opening things up on the inside for me. And I was very fortunate in the first half that all my shots were dropping. In the second half, like Coach said, I lost my legs and I couldn't find a jumper.
Kansas State coach Lon Kruger continues the clean sweep for the state of Kansas.
A three-pointer could tie it. Time has expired. Now, if you tell me you got to go scout Kansas, I'm not going to believe you.
Well, I think we know each other pretty well. They're awfully good, and they're playing very, very well right now. And, you know, Larry does a great job. We got our hands full. They probably have the emotional edge now because we beat them last time.
In the West, North Carolina cheerleaders had a lot to shout about last night. J.R. Reed was too much on the inside despite a horde of defenders. Dean Smith liked what he saw, as well as teammate Scott Williams playing a good support role, helping Carolina roll by 9. And Dean Smith advances to the regional finals where the Tar Heels will meet Arizona. Arizona dismantled Iowa last night with good team play. McMillan shot is off, but Sean Elliott is on the inside for the rebound and the slam and the win.
It's going to be a heck of a basketball game, I think. But our guys haven't backed off anybody all year long, so we're looking forward to playing the Tar Heels on Sunday.
By the way, Kansas and Kansas State do know each other pretty well. They played 3 times during the regular college basketball season, and Kansas State won 2 of those games by an average of 13 points, Jim.
You know, James, with Kansas and Kansas State meeting tomorrow, it of course means we'll have essentially a home team playing at Kemper Arena. Plus, of course, a Big 8 team will be there as well. Well, there are 3 Big 8 teams in the Final 8, with Oklahoma, of course, taking on Villanova later today. All right, when we come back, we'll look in on the man with the look, John Chaney of Temple, as the road to the Final Four continues after this.
Gentlemen, to the
They say the car you drive says a lot about you, but we think the kind of people who drive our cars says a lot about Audi. When you're ready to follow your own road, you're ready for an Audi.
Take a look around you. It's a time to put the best to work for you.
And here's our action warranty.
We're the best at what we do. We're the ones coming through for you. Let's get together.
Family room. Great.
Come with us.
We love the place. Bye.
Put your trust in number 1.
What a team.
21. She calls me Mr. Irresistible.
The smoothness of a Noxzema shave. Who can resist?
I'm her Mr. Irresistible.
Noxzema. It's medicated.
She loves it. Her Mr. Irresistible.
So close. So clean.
She's got it. Her Mr. Irresistible.
Noxzema.
She can't resist her good old Mr. Irresistible.
What you doing?
Hi. Garage sale.
Garage sale? My lucky hat.
Moving means making lots of decisions. That's why Ryder helps you with our free Move It Yourself guide.
This came all the way from Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe a Hawaiian will buy it.
It helps you handle everything, from picking the best truck, to packing your china, to planning your expenses.
It's gonna be worth a lot of money, sweetie. What do you think?
Honey, can we talk about this?
Ryder. We're there at every turn.
You know, the road to the Final Four leads to Kansas City, but the heaviest traffic has come from a key interchange, Philadelphia. And Gary Paul Gates has the story of this urban hotbed of hoops and the man who's never lost his shooting eye.
Philadelphia is a city rich in tradition and larger-than-life monuments. The founding father, known here as Billy Penn, clearly has the best view in town. Philadelphia also has had its share of larger-than-life athletes.
Sometimes they even try to blend the two cultures. Here's a tribute of sorts to the city's fictional hero, Rocky VII, or whatever number he's up to now. But there's nothing make-believe about Philadelphia's strong tradition in college basketball. And there, the championship teams don't just come from one school.
3 years ago, it was Villanova. This season, the team to beat is Temple. Without question, the basketball roots run deep in Philadelphia.
I would have to say that asphalt has a lot to do with it. The fact of the matter is that many of the youngsters come from poor backgrounds, in closed quarters, not the suburban kind of situation.
Chaney himself learned the game on the mean streets of this city, and growing up here was not easy.
I just feel like I've come out of the earth, from the mud, so to speak.
John was the kind of guy that even when it snowed, he would go over and shovel the snow off the basketball court and practice. And when other people were out thinking about girls and things like that, John was thinking about basketball.
Chaney's boyhood friend is now principal of Benjamin Franklin High School, where John played basketball just a few blocks from Temple. He and Tom Gola were the best players of their time in Philadelphia. Gola went on to star at LaSalle, leading the Explorers to 2 national championships.
Most of the fellows in my day stayed at home. If you look at our 1952 NIT championship team, every fellow who was on the team was a graduate of either the public league in Philadelphia or the Catholic league in Philadelphia, which says something for, you know, the caliber of basketball at the high school level.
John Chaney wanted to stay at home too. His dream was to play for Temple, but he discovered that big-time college basketball was within an exclusive club dominated by white players. It wasn't until he was 50 years old that he finally made it to Temple, and then as head coach. But he had perfected a few tricks along the way.
I just try to put a hex on them that comes from my mom and my grandma. The one-eyed Jack stare is one that I look at you for about 2 minutes, and sometimes the guys don't look back, but they know I'm looking at them.
So far, Cheney has been able to stare the Owls into the regional finals, and Temple's most famous alumnus has been on hand for most of the action.
I have to be there.
Why is
my
that?
wife, because my wife let me have the family plane.
And if Temple does win it all, he'll fly home to exchange smiles with another Billy, the stately Mr. Penn. And it will be brotherly love time all over again. For CBS Sports, I'm Gary Paul Gates.
All right, James, you know, Duke played in the championship game 2 years ago, but it's been 30 years since Temple was in the Final Four. How do you see this one today?
Both teams are excellent defensively. They each have a great offensive player in Danny Ferry and, of course, Mark Macon. I think Duke's going to have the matchup problems on the inside.
All right, James, the first team going to Kansas City will come from the Meadowlands. Tim Brandt and Bill Raftery will have the call after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
If you were thinking about steak tonight, Steak and Ale would like to give you something to think about. Something irresistible. Something out of the ordinary. Something traditional. Something we've been doing for over 20 years. Tonight, if you were thinking about steak, why would you think about any place but Steak and Ale? For over 20 years, the legend in steak.
America has plenty of rear-engine riding mowers, yet one is America's #1 choice, Snapper. #1 because of superior performance. #1 because of low maintenance. #1 because more Americans buy Snapper than any other brand of rear-engine rider. Join the millions of satisfied users who have made Snapper America's #1 choice.
Buy any Snapper product during our All-American Spring Savings event and get a free attachment at participating dealers.
For all the people who hate their old heat pump, who've had it with high energy bills, who can't handle yet another breakdown, and who won't go through another problem-filled summer, we offer the Trane $150 rebate. Buy a Trane XL 1200 Weathertron heat pump, the heat pump with a 10-year warranty, and get your $150 rebate now.
Call McNutt Service Group in Hendersonville or McGuinn's Heating and Air in Tryon.
This is a test of the revolutionary new PDQ service at Advance Auto Parts. Just come to Advance by noon, and if we don't have your part in stock, we'll get it for you the same day. 7 days a week, 364 days a year.
It's 5. You got it?
PDQ, parts delivered quickly. No other parts store even comes close.
I believe in all the words I'm saying, and if a word from you can bring a better day, then all I have are these games I've been playing to keep my hope from crumbling away. Everybody has a dream. Everybody has a dream. This is my dream.
And welcome to the Brendan Byrne Arena at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. A sellout crowd on hand to see which team reaches that dream and becomes the first team to advance to the Final Four. It's the two top seeds in the East, the Blue Devils of Duke and the top-rated Owls of Temple. Take a look at how they got there. Duke with wins against Boston University, SMU, and a close one Thursday night against Rhode Island. The Temple Owls have yet to be tested. Lehigh, Georgetown, and Richmond. And along
again, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Bill Raftery. And Bill, this is a matchup that the selection committee had to envision 3 weeks ago when they selected the field of 64. What can we expect?
And of course, Mark Macon, leading Temple, great offensive player. The courage to take the shot. That's the key. He has the green light. John Chaney has a lot of confidence in him.
Now, Duke's Billy King is one of the best defensive players in the country, and he's drawing that assignment against Macon.
He's going to be challenged because you've got a ball fake, and you've got the great ability by Macon to go by him. So he's going to need some assistance by the off people.
All right, let's talk some more, if we will, about Billy King, because he has stopped some marvelous players.
Well, the difference today, besides stopping these people, he's playing a guy his size, so he won't have those 2 inches to intimidate.
Now, when you think about this stage in the season, the championship game in the East, you think maybe the coaches can overcoach. Is that a true statement?
Both are disciplinarians, and of course, John Chaney, the advocate of the matchup zone, which can present problems for Duke. But Duke, with tenacious man-to-man, great denial, so they may force some bad shots by Temple.
All right, Billy, the winner moves on to the Final Four. The loser is finished. The championship coming up. It's Duke and Temple.
CBS Sports coverage of today's NCAA Basketball Championship Regional Final game from East Rutherford is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. And by Bud Light, everything else is just a light.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence, become a person with a future. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the armed forces. It's a great place to start.
The Florida Keys stretch like an old clothesline for 130 miles. Down here, the locals are called conks. Their ways are old-fashioned, and so are their values. And in a way, ours are too. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And whenever you rent a car from Alamo, the rates are low, and all those miles are free, including 130 miles, called the Florida Keys.
Every 10 seconds of every hour of every business day, America puts a brand new Epson computer or printer to work. Imagine that. Businesses of every kind and size putting the power of Epson into millions of hands. Every 10 seconds, another new Epson. It's true. When you've got an Epson, you've got a lot of company.
The skyline of New York City. They call it the Big Apple. Today, across the river, it's the big game. The Blue Devils of Duke and the top-seeded, top-ranked Temple Owls. Sellout crowd at the Meadowlands Arena to see the teams there in the bottom. Temple advanced by beating Richmond. Duke got past Rhode Island 73-72. Let's meet the players. Here's our public address announcer, Dominic Elijah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Meadowlands Arena for today's East Regional Final game between the Duke Blue Devils and the Temple Owls. Now let's meet today's starting lineups. For Duke, at forward, a 6'6" senior from Sterling, Virginia, number 55, Billy King. For Temple, at forward, a 6'9" senior from Freehold, New Jersey, number 33, Tim Perry. Duke, at forward, a 6'10" junior from Bowie, Maryland, number 35, Danny Ferry. For Temple, at forward, a 6'7" junior from Morrisville, Pennsylvania, number 32, Mike Grieswig. For Duke, at center, a 6'5" sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina, number 21, Robert Brickey. For Temple, at center, a 6'10" senior from Carolina, Puerto Rico, number 44, Ramon Rivas. Guard, a 6'3" junior from Mercer Island, Washington, number 14, Quinn Snyder. For Temple, at guard, a 6'5" freshman from Saginaw, Michigan, number 12, Mark Macon. For Duke at guard, a 6'5" senior from Mount Airy, North Carolina, number 31, Kevin Strickland. For Temple at guard, a 6'1" senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 21, Howard Evans. And introducing the head coaches, for Duke in his 8th season, Mike Krzyzewski, and for Temple in his 6th season, John Cheney.
The referees today, Larry Lumbo, Jim Bain, and Art McDonald. We're all set. We'll be back.
This report details new opportunities in several markets here.
And we'll be arriving in
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah, at 200 kilometers, 125 miles per hour for you.
I never would have known. 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Too bad.
I knew he was going to be here. This is going to be one great party.
Do you know why Spud McKenzie has so much fun at parties?
Because he's always in control.
He knows how to make the party last. It takes good sense to have a good time. Spuds knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.